Welcome to Health Oddity, the show that strips away the jargon and hype surrounding all things health and fitness to help you live a long, strong and energetic life. Lining up at the bar this week, here's Peter Lant and James St. Pierre.
Hello and welcome to the Health Odyssey podcast, episode 268. Now, if you are listening on the day of release, like I know many of you do, it is the 17th of October. So we are well and truly in the autumn. Mr. Peter Lant's summer evening walks have finished. In Bath, the Wednesday night walks have finished. The days are getting shorter. And we are moving, autumn towards winter in England, anyway, in the UK. We will touch base with Mr. Peter Lant and see how he's doing. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm tired. The way it is, isn't it? Yeah, I'm all right.
Let's kick off the pod. I'll tell you what, you don't know we're going to do this, but let's kick off the podcast the same way I kick off my team meetings at the gym to raise energy. And to get the mind in the right place. What is something that is really positive for you at the moment, or something you're grateful for?
We finished the evening walks, and the sunset was amazing.
Yes,
you saw the pictures.
Yes,
the week before, it was really cloudy and everything. But like on Wednesday last week, whenever it was. Because this goes out ages, like in a few weeks. But anyway, it was just great. It was really nice. Got some great pictures, which will then be able to use for like advertising and stuff like that, because it just makes it look amazing. Gave out 2 badges. People were loving it. It was just a great end to the year. For that anyway, the Saturday walks still go on. So I had a Saturday walk after that, and we had like about 35 people on that. And it went from this place, Bath Soft Cheese, which is in Kelston, and we'll stay for a coffee afterwards. There's a big coffee shop there. It's like a farm with a coffee shop and stuff. The cheese making place. It's brilliant. And that most people, there was only about 2 people who couldn't stay for that, so everyone else stayed for a coffee and a bit of a chat and what have you. So
that was on the Saturday morning, was it? The coffee?
Yeah, that was Saturday morning. So I'm grateful for that. Basically, it's like we've got a lot of people coming along, and it's starting to get a bit like more difficult to manage, more challenging, shall we say? Because it's enjoyable, but when you've got a few people coming along, and then everything's running smoothly and all that, it's enjoyable. But then when you start to get more people, it starts to get harder to manage. But it's a learning experience, right? It's one of those things that'll, will come out of it better. So so I've got that. What about you?
Excellent. I was also going to say your foot is healing nicely, isn't it? Because I've seen you're back on the. Are you back on the pistol squats now as well?
Yeah. I did 390,000 steps in September with a broken foot. I broke it at the end of August, right? And I did an average of 13,000 steps a day in September on a broken foot. And and you might think that's excessive. However, it's healing exactly as it should. So it shows that it wasn't excessive, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I just went 390,000 divided by 30 is 13,000. Yeah, so per day. Yeah.
So 13,000 steps a day. So my target every month is 500,000. So I was only 110,000 short of that, but I'm still about 500,000 steps ahead of my 6 million step target anyway. So these are the things that show up on the little blips along the way. But I was talking about this with somebody. I might have mentioned it last week as well. If I'm walking 20,000 steps a day and I can only do 20% of that on a broken foot, right? That's 4,000 steps. I did that in my head very quickly, right? That's 4,000 steps. There'll be some people who aren't doing 4,000 steps a day. So if they go and break their foot, they do 20% of whatever, like less than 4,000. They'll be doing no steps. It'll be negligible. So it's one of those things, like not necessarily the more you do, because it's still got to be quality time and all of that sort of stuff. However, the more active you are, when something happens, the more likely you are to still be able to do stuff. I mean, I was hobbling around. I did hardly anything for the first week. And fortunately, Sean was off school, so she could walk the dog and everything. And then The week after that, I was hobbling around, but I could only go out for like half an hour. But I'd do that twice a day, and my foot ached like you wouldn't believe.
Mm,
But then 2 weeks or 3 weeks into it, I could get back out again. And then now it's like it was aching on Sunday when I was out. But what we're on Thursday now, it doesn't really ache anymore. I know I can feel that it's healing, and I can
mm,
feel that it's not quite right, but I'm also walking normally, and I can go out and walk for 2.5 hours, no problem.
mm. Yeah,
So
it's interesting, because I'm trying to get my steps up, just not obviously to the level that you're at, but I mean, today I'm just having a look. Today I've done so far about 8,000, but I'm back in the gym this evening, so that'll definitely be over 10. But the last few days, yesterday 15,000, the day before 17,000, 13,000, 15,000. So the average, the rolling average over the last 7 days, 13,500,
yeah,
and that's just really intentionally looking for ways to increase steps. But a couple of evenings, if I've got to the evening and I've been on, like, say, 7,000, and I'll kind of, once the kids are in bed or whatever, I'll take myself out for a walk for an hour. Do you know what I mean? And then you add another 6 or 7,000 on.
yep.
And it's just really interesting that once you start to make that a priority, it doesn't take that much to get yourself over 10,000, does it? I don't
Not
know.
not. I mean, mine's excessive
Mm.
but it's how my lifestyle
And you've got your
works.
dog,
It
and
just
and
fits
all
it,
the
and I
rest
haven't
of
got a
it. Yeah,
car.
yeah.
But so it's not excessive, but you don't need to do that many. You don't even need to do 10,000. You just need to do. Most people probably just need to do a little bit more than what they're already doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I get people who are, we talk to people who are active who go to the gym and stuff like that, but they get 800 steps a day because they'll drive to the gym, go to the gym, and they might do like some treadmill work or something, or they might do like or do weights or whatever. If you do
Mm,
weights and then drive home and go home and then work
mm,
from home and not go out and then sit on the sofa and watch TV, you might only get 1,000 steps.
mm,
So it's like Dan John was talking about, it's one of those things like people can't figure it out. It's like, well, I'm trying to get fit, strong, and healthy, and I can't see it doesn't nothing seems to work. I'm lifting
mm,
weights 3 times a week, like you said. It's like, yeah, but you got to do the lifestyle stuff as well.
mm.
So his thing about lifting weights and going for a walk is right.
That's
Um,
interesting. There's a couple of things actually that you've just said there that have made me, things I'm working on at the moment. Um, one of them is a few different kind of hierarchies that I've been putting together for like over 50s, and it's really interesting you say that, because
which will be us soon.
yeah, yeah, or over 50s, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've got this sort of pyramid, obviously this hierarchy, and it's healthy lifestyle hierarchy. So obviously the thing at the bottom is the biggest bit of the triangle, so that's the most important, the kind of the foundation. And then as it kind of goes up, you want to try and stack everything on top of each other. But so the bottom one was no smoking, vaping, and kind of limiting alcohol. So just, I think smoking, I still have a few people who come to the gym who smoke. And it's just one of those things. I mean, I don't want to sound disparaging to anyone listening who smokes, but it's one of those sort of things that Steph and I almost shake my head and just think, what are you, in this day and age, what are you still doing smoking? But, people, and I understand,
I mean, I used to smoke and I get it. It's addictive and that,
yeah,
but it is really, like, really, really bad for you.
yeah,
Like,
and it's
really bad.
really expensive now, and it's
Yeah.
really bad for you, and it's just, yeah. But anyway, so
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
so
that's the first thing that they ask, isn't it? When I got my foot x-rayed again, and he said it's healing well, and he said, you don't smoke, do you? And I was like, no, because that would make it heal slower.
mm.
It just would.
Yeah, just your
So
blood flow and everything
yeah.
around the body is, yeah, your circulation. So yeah, the first step is no smoking, vaping, limiting alcohol. Second step, take sleep seriously. So
Yep.
and then so these are the kind of foundational things. Next one up, which is kind of spend time in nature, which I think just being outside, which is really important, and getting outside, human connection. So it's all these things we spoke about before, isn't it? And next one, sort of nutritional habits. I haven't gone into specifics of diet, but then focusing on your nutrition. The next one, walking, and then the last one, training. in terms of some kind of, like you say, gym type training or something, because so many people think, right, I want to leave, I want to start getting more healthy, I want to get in better shape, and the thing they immediately go to is the training, which for
Yeah.
me is sort of the top of the pyramid almost, and all
Yeah.
those other things come underneath, and three of those things are connected, as we've said, to the kind of walking group that you run. You've got spend time in nature, human connection, and walking. So three of those things in the pyramid you can cross off in one activity, which is
Absolutely. Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, there's that kind of jumped to mind. And what was the other thing? Oh, the other thing is this longevity quiz that I've been working on, which I was trialing just yesterday. I put a thing in my Facebook group with my members to say, look, I've got two different Facebook groups for two different kind of levels of membership in the gym. And I asked sort of for 5 volunteers from each one, and then 5 volunteers from the dinner group with the Will Polston dinner group that I do as well. So I have 15 people, sent it out. Can you do this for me? And they all did it, and I got loads of feedback. What it's like. Sometimes you send something out, and probably I would just be like, yeah, that's really good, I've done it. But some people, which is great, really are detail orientated, and you get sent like bullet points of, you can improve it by doing this, and this, and it's actually really helpful when you're
Yeah.
going to say
Sometimes
things.
that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not so good as well.
No, this is a good thing, but
Yeah.
initially you kind of think, oh bloody hell. But when you read the points, I kind of read them all, and they were really straightforward things like, maybe move this here, or maybe put this question, because there's 6 different categories in so it's a quiz. It's effectively 6 categories with 5 questions in each. One of them is about lifestyle habits, one is around sleep, one is around kind of nutrition, one is around mobility and I think it's more like mobility and flexibility and stuff. One is around strength and exercise, and one is like mindset around aging. And there
Mm.
were some questions that a few people said, oh, well, that question, you've got a section about that later. I'd put that one in that section and all that kind of thing. But the very first question I have on there is, do you smoke? On the whole of the questionnaire. And what I was going to say, the reason I say is because one of the questions was, because I read a whole book about this, about how you actually, the behavioral elements of how you actually get someone to go through and fill in a quiz. And if it's too complicated, people just drop off of it. They think I can't be bothered with this. If there's drop down menus with multiple choice, it takes people too long to go through and they get frustrated. So this is literally yes, no's the whole way through. Yeah. So one of the questions was, do you do 10,000 steps every day or most days? And someone came back and said, well, I do about 8,000. So maybe you should have a drop down menu that says, I do 4, I do 6, I do 8, I do 10. And it's like, yeah, but then it just makes it more complicated. You want
Yeah,
it to,
but that's super simple. It's like, no, you don't. Then that's a
yeah,
no.
it's a no,
And
it's a
if you
yes
think
or
you
no.
should, if they're all, that's almost someone making excuses about the question. It's like, well, if you want to do 10,000, you think you should, just do it then. Just do
Yeah,
2,000 more. But if you do, if you think it's not a problem, just say no.
just say no. Yeah, and
Because
just
I
own
think
it.
what'll be
Yeah.
happening there, someone's thinking if I say no, they think I'm doing like way less than 10,000, but actually I'm not that far off. And it's like,
Yeah.
there you
And
go.
one of them is like, do you eat 5 different types of fruit and vegetables per day? There's a sleep one. There's a few, well, there's a whole sleep section, but it's quite interesting. So anyway, as a result of the feedback, I'm kind of tailoring it and tweaking it. But it's interesting because it kind of really ties into so much of what we do on the podcast, and that hierarchy, whereby getting if you're smoking, first of all, stop. You know what I mean? I know it's
Yeah.
easier said than done, but that's got to be priority number one. If you're sleeping, some people sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night, that's priority number two. Because whatever else you're trying to do, if you're not supporting yourself through recovery, and the most basic fundamental method of recovery that we have as humans is sleeping. It's something that's free that we all do every night anyway, so you just need to take that seriously.
Yeah.
but yeah, so many people try and put the cart before the horse, as it were. So it's good just to kind of readdress that balance, you know.
What's great about that? I mean, well, the first thing that sprung to mind was like, right, okay, so you've got your pyramid, right? And it's usually upside down for most people. They'll go and train
mm,
first. Then they'll be like, oh, I'll do loads of cardio. And then it's like, oh, well,
mm,
someone said lift weights, so I'll do some weights as well.
mm,
And then it's like, oh, well, I'll try and eat better, but I probably won't.
mm,
Um, and then they start to think like later on, that's when the character comes in and they start to think like, right, I'm going to be the person who doesn't drink as much and blah, 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 and all that. Whereas actually, if you start there, you build the character and then you become the person who goes to the gym anyway. Because you can do it
mm,
all at the same time, can't you? You just prioritize the widest bit at the bottom.
mm.
But then what happens is when you come to training, you can do a pyramid about training as well, whether you do HIIT training, whether you do weights, whether you do cardio, where do you
Oh, well, I've
start,
got
how
all of
much do
that
you
as
do?
well, Mr.
So, but then there's
Yeah.
pyramids within pyramids within pyramids, isn't there, of everything? So this is
Yeah.
why people get so caught up in it all,
Yeah.
because it's super complicated. It's like it's not.
Yeah.
You just do the thing, and then once you're doing it, then you can start to break it down once it's a habit, and then you
Mm,
can go, right, how much weight training should I do? How many sets and reps? How much like whatever, isn't it?
mm.
So, but think about that later on when you've got the first pyramid going
Yeah.
and you do it without thinking, then you can move into each section and build a pyramid out of those, can't you? Like nutrition, do you prioritize protein? It's like all of that,
Mm.
that's later on, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Um,
definitely. I mean, it's but like, and you say I've got like a this sort of longevity training hierarchy one, but the base of that is just movement and mobility, and
mm,
then aerobic fitness. So literally low level walking, basically, walking or low level building the aerobic base,
yeah,
and then strength after that, and then the top of the pyramid there would be that kind of high intensity training,
yeah,
which again, so many people are out of shape. They don't exercise currently. They're overweight. They've got bad lifestyles. And the thing that they think they will need to do is high intensity training, which which is kind of
I used to get really frustrated with that, but now
mm.
I just feel empathetic with people because I've done it. And
Oh,
now
I'm
I feel
empathetic,
empathetic
but
with people because
you
I'm
see
like,
it.
God,
Yeah.
God bless you. You really want to do this, but you're going about it in a not in the wrong way. Because I mean, for some people it does work. Some people are
Mm.
just bloody minded and they'll go and do it. They'll Goggins it, for
Yeah.
want of a
Yeah.
better way to say it. But some people can do that, right? But that's like this many people, isn't it? It's a very, 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 very small percentage.
Mm. Mm.
But yeah, God bless the people who just do that and then burn out after like 2 weeks and say, "God, I can't do this exercise thing. I'm too tired." And it's like that's it's you're
Yeah.
not tired because of the exercise. You're tired because of all the other stuff that you haven't addressed yet.
Yeah.
And I've done that, and it's I
Because
look back.
you think you need something extreme, don't you? You think you
Yeah,
need something intense, extreme. You need to kickstart your body. You need to,
yeah.
shake up your metabolism. You need to do something massive, to make a change.
I mean, the way I look at everything now, I honestly look at when I look back at it, and it's not like I'm in the perfect place and all of that sort of stuff. I still struggle with stuff, and I still, break my foot, and I still get like mindset wobbles, which I've had over the last couple of weeks, and all of that sort of stuff. However, everything I've done up until this point helps me through that, right? So my foot's healing well because I don't smoke and I don't drink loads. And I do drink, but not nowhere near as much as I used to. And
Mm,
I eat as healthy as possible, and I move, and I lift weights and all of that sort of stuff. So that's for me. That's like, well, my foot heals because of that. Mindset is different because it's like, right, when you're doing that and you're starting to overthink, and you're like, why didn't I say this? And I should have said that, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and it's like, whoa. So everything that I've done kind of meditation wise and trying to keep basically on an even keel with that and not let your thoughts override your decisions and all of that sort of stuff, not let your emotions override your decisions and stuff. That's more challenging, I would say. But
mm,
if you practice it and practice it and practice it when you need it, that's when it comes in handy. Because lots of people go, well, I've done that, I've done meditation, I've done, well, like whatever it is, whatever your practice is, people think they've done it, but then when they get to a crisis and something that is there to threaten their brain, they're like, I don't know what to do now, and it's like that's because you stopped because everything was all right. that's when you should be doing. When everything's all right is the best time to do it, because when it goes tits up, that's when you need it the most, right?
What's the thing? Is it like make hay while the sun shines or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And Dan always says, doesn't he? He says, like, Dan John, friend of the show, says, it was working so well, I stopped. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
which is why I stopped. Yeah.
everything's going well. You think, why did I ever stop doing that?
Yep.
It was
Yep.
really good when I was doing that. Why did I ever stop doing that?
But I also think that questionnaire. So
Yeah,
everything you've mentioned there, the first pyramid, because obviously there's loads
yeah,
of them, isn't there?
yeah.
But the first pyramid and the questionnaire go really well together, because what it does is gets people to think about it. Whether they do anything doesn't matter. They'll think about it. Once it's in there, once it's in your head, you're like, why is he asking about smoke? Why is he asking about this? Why is he asking about that? Why, like, oh, sleep? Do I get enough? 5 hours? That's enough, isn't it? And then they'll start to, people will Google it. Is 5 hours enough sleep? And I haven't actually Googled it. I probably should, but I would imagine it'd be like, for some people, yes, but for most people, no.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like it just gets people to think, and then they'll go and start to find out.
Well, that's the idea, because we're going to put it on the website and things, so that it will be like a lead magnet, I suppose you'd call it, from a marketing perspective. But because someone, they put their name and their email address in, they go through, they fill in the quiz, they get emailed a report at the end of it, and then it goes through, the scores and things, and then there's an option or an opportunity to kind of touch base with us and see how we can help. If they're local to the area, we can maybe help them with these things. So it's kind of, but I think people like quizzes, because the people I sent it out to, it's really funny. They send back and go, oh, why did I only get that score? Or why is that score so low when it's this?
Did
And,
I pass?
and yeah. But it's basically, it's got like a traffic light system on it. So if it
Oh,
depending
I wonder
upon
where you got that from.
why are you saying that?
Gemma used one of them, didn't she?
Oh no, but this is it's kind of like a piece of software that does quizzes and stuff, but
Yeah.
it kind of gives you, so what we were going to market it, we may even do so as like a midlife MOT or whatever, so, and when you get your MOT, you get either pass, advisory, or fail, basically, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we don't use that harsh language, but it's effectively like, green is, yeah, you're doing well. So you've got the 6 areas. Green, yeah, you're doing pretty well with this. This is all good. Amber is, you could make you're doing generally well, but you could make a few tweaks and improvements to improve things. And red is like, yeah, you could really do with looking at this area, to improve things. But people were saying, oh, I don't understand, because it's got a really low score, but it's a green. But the way it works is it's like because a guy developed it with me, and it's like a risk score, so the
Yeah.
higher the number, the higher the risk of bit. So if the score's very high, then it will be red, because maybe you're drinking too much, you're smoking too much, you're not getting any sleep, you're not eating vegetables, you're not doing your steps, you're not doing any of this stuff, so it puts you at a higher kind of risk. And then when your score is very low, then it will be green, because everything's pretty good, so but it's so interesting, the psychology, which it does tap into, obviously, of people when they do a quiz, they want to get a score or get some information. So I'm looking forward to kind of rolling it out a bit and sort of seeing how it goes.
The psychology behind that is quite interesting, because people want the high score, like you've just said. So they when they're answering, they'll be like, "That's only worth a point. Why?" But that is me. I don't want to be that. I want to be the other. But then they look at the other thing and go, "Well, I'm not that, because that's really unhealthy." It's bad, isn't it? So it gets
So I've recorded a video, and my guy Tommy has kind of done a written thing as well, just to explain the kind of the scoring system, because that's one of the biggest questions we had, when people did it, how it works and stuff. But yeah, no, it is very, very interesting. It's and I was going to say, actually, because I want to talk today as well, because it's funny, since we've been kind of going all in, if you will, like, or a lot more in this messaging of Unique Results is working with people in their their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, and we've gone more down the longevity route, rather than the kind of we were never in the kind of 20s bodybuilding market, but we're kind of a lot more, the messaging is using more like older people for lifestyle stuff. I was referred, a lady I mentioned earlier to you, her daughter phoned me or emailed, and I just spoke to her prior to coming on the podcast. Her mum is 90, and her mum's, it sounds weird, her mum's boyfriend is 94. But apparently they've been together 25 years, but they're not married. But they're both cyclists, and they're 90 and 94. And the lady she's 90 on Sunday, actually, she cycles 30 to 50 miles 3 times a week. And on the days that she doesn't cycle, she walks 4 to 5 miles a day, and she's 90 and he's 94. And the daughter said to me, Caroline said to me, and I think her mum's name is Heather, and the partner is Eric. She said, Eric, she goes, he's absolutely ripped. He's 94 years old. So I'm like, bloody hell. So she wants her mum to come and start doing, and this lady herself is like a kind of a massage therapist and a pelvic floor specialist. So she works within the health and fitness kind of space, but she's based down in Brighton and her mum lives in Chelmsford. But she said her mum needs to do strength training, 90 years old, so needs to do strength training because she's got like osteopenia. I think she came off her bike a few years ago and fractured her hip or pelvis. So, but so I can't wait to meet this lady. She sounds
It would be interesting to
incredible.
see how strong she already is. Like,
Yeah, because
yeah,
she said she thinks her quads are going to be quite strong. She said her grip is not great because she can't open like fresh jars and things like that, and she's the grip is not great. She doesn't do any upper body stuff because she said to me that she doesn't have a bath at home now. They've got a shower because she got to the stage where she couldn't lift herself out of the bath, from a strength perspective with her arms. So I'm really excited to start working with her, and
yeah, doing dips.
yeah,
Sorted.
yeah. Dips with a chain hanging
Yeah.
around the neck, like prison yard style. But no, I'm really excited to start working with her and seeing what we can do. Because I mean, I think that this is a great thing. One of the reasons I mention it is at 90 years old, you're going to start something new that you've never done before
Yeah.
in terms of like strength training. And she's fit and healthy, and she's been a cyclist for decades, and and walks and everything else. But she did say, because obviously as you get older, you tend to kind of have like more of a hunched, lean forward sort of position, and the cycling, I think, has potentially exacerbated that
Yeah.
because you're leaning forwards on a bike. So it's going to be kind of posterior chain stuff, standing up, maybe rows, shoulder retractions, face pulls, all these kind of things just to try and pull the shoulders back and posture. And but I mean, at 90 years of age, I mean, I just think it's hugely commendable for
The
someone
thing,
to
the
be
thing is though,
doing that.
with cyclists and stuff, it's like, I mean, it all depends, doesn't it? But she's probably really strong in that position.
Mm,
And that's the thing. Like you say, you do all of that, but then it's like, does that affect the cycling as well? Because it's like the old thing of, if you even someone up who's a golfer or whatever, then they're gonna get worse
mm,
at the sport, aren't they?
yeah.
But still, it's like everyone like still strength work, isn't
I
it?
think
So
we'll be literally looking at training
yeah,
once a week because I'm not that you're going to kind of beast someone like that and working really, really hard, but I think that because she's got so much else going on as well, and the
yeah,
recovery from training at 90 years of age is going to be a lot slower than, even at 60 years of age or 70 years of age. So probably one good structured um, session per week, and then maybe just some sort of bite-sized little exercises and drills that she can do at home
yeah.
is going to be ample, I think. When combined with the cycling and the walking as well. But no, I just thought it was fantastic to have someone, you know, going to do so. Because how many people, I know people, and you probably do, I'm sure, who are maybe some people. It's a cliche, isn't it? You're as old as you feel. But some people in their mid 40s or 50s might say, "Oh no, it's too late for me to start that now." No, I can't start. I can't start
Well,
something new.
you get people who'll be in the 40s, 50s, 60s asking about Walk Bath,
Mm.
and how far it is, and of the hills. And if it's 4 to 5 miles with a hill in, they're like, "Oh, I can't do it." It's like, you should be able to, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things, isn't it? And then you got a 90-year-old lady. I mean, how far is 50 miles on a bike? Couple of hours? I don't know.
Oh,
So
well, I'd imagine probably more like 3 or 4. I'd
which
imagine
is
for,
a
for you
lot.
know for someone, yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine she's pedaling super fast. You know what I
So
mean? I may be wrong, but
if you're talking 4 hours on a bike, for me, I always try and figure it out as walking. But
mm,
that'd be like going out and doing like 10, 11, 12 miles on a
yeah,
walk.
yeah,
Which is decent, if you're doing that 3 times a week or whatever it is,
yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah, yeah. No, it's great. It really is. I mean, have you ever thought, just an idea from what you just said? I know it's I don't know there must be a market for it, but so you do walk Bath, and your walks on Saturdays. What's the kind of distance? They're usually kind of 5, 6 miles or
Now
something like
between
that.
3 and 5. Some are
Yeah.
slightly more than 5, but not much, like 2 hours.
I just wondered if there was any scope to, not every week, but to do maybe like, like even a lower level one, like once a
There
month
is,
or
but
something. No.
who's going to do it?
You got loads of volunteers, and yeah.
Well, I
Yeah, no.
know
It's only an idea.
it's
No, it's just
it's not
an
as simple
idea
as
because
that.
no, it's not simple, but it's just an idea because um, if it was one Sunday a month or something, I don't know, and it was just, but it was literally a 2 mile walk that was flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you try and progress people up to big school, as it were, to go to walk Bath, the
Well,
proper
there are other
big one.
places that do shorter. Like there's a place called Batscape,
Ah, okay.
and they do walks. The problem with a lot of walking groups is they go out at like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So most of the people who come along to us work, so they can come
Yes.
on a Wednesday evening, they can come on a Saturday, because walking groups are more gauged to people who are a bit retired, who are retired. Um, and again, walking groups are kind of gauged to people who go walking as well. Ours is gauged towards the person, and it's like, just come along and meet people, and
Mm,
the walks happen, but it's not about the walk; it's about the people.
mm,
However, obviously we do it via walking, but
mm.
there are other places where people can do that. And I'm like, if someone says it's too far for me, I'll just say, well, go have a look at Batscape, because they do them all the
Yes.
time. But the
Yeah.
problem then can be is someone, because they might only do a mile or two around one of the parks, and they'd be like, yeah, but I don't want that either. I want to see different places. And it's like, right, well,
Well, you have to
there's
do that maybe for a bit and graduate. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
where the problem lies, right? Because if you want to see the top of Salisbury Hill, you've got to be able to go up, walk up it. You can't
Mm,
just drive up and meet us there. You could do, but what's the point in that? Because you're going to walk like less than half a mile to get up
mm,
to see the
mm,
top. So it's one of these things, and I thought about it years ago of like, you're just going to go walking up a mountain. You just want to be able to say, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll come with you.
mm.
So same, it's the same thing, but on a smaller scale. Like, we're going to walk up that hill today. Are you coming? And people just go, yeah, I'll be there.
Mm,
So that's one of the things, I think, when people are a bit like that. They're kind of like, well, it's too far, or I can't walk up that hill, but I want to see what's at the top of it. It's like, right, you need to get you need to get fitter in to do that then. So
mm.
yeah, go and join a shorter walk. Go and join a group that do that, and then when you're ready, we'll be here, and
Yeah.
you can
No, I
come
like I
along.
like that because I remember when I used to work at Chelmsford Borough Council, we used to do like a walking group from there. But those ones were literally they were 30-minute walks, and they were very much almost like you'd meet, and it was like a 30 to 40-minute walk, around the town or around the town park or something. So it's very, very low level, but very, and like you say, very inclusive. Lots of older people. But now I just think that, again, is it an echo chamber because it's who we see? But now I kind of see, my members like Bev and Keith and Mickey and Nikki, and the older people who come on the walking weekends. We did a walk uh the other Sunday where there was 20 of us at the gym, and we just went and did like a 6 mile walk, about 10 kilometers. It's flat, but it was just a nice walk it for, kind of 2.25 hours, sort of a 6 mile walk. And it was lovely. So yeah, like you say, people can do the shorter ones that are available and build up to it. But I think that's a good thing, because so many people, they see something maybe and they think, I want to be able to do that, but I don't see the work that goes into the background before you can do it. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think that's actually a good message actually for people, to that kind of delayed gratification of, well, yeah, you can come on our walks, but you need to be able to do it. So go, signpost them somewhere else, build up your fitness, and then when they do join you and when they can get to the top of Salisbury Hill, it's kind of worth it. It's a reward, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we get that sometimes where, you'll get people with the suggestion you just said, whether I want to come out with your group. And it's like, well, it is, well, the suggestion there is then make it available to me. And I'm like, I'd love to, but, and we might do in the future, but at the minute I'm still building it as it is. So, I've got to get that robust first.
Yeah. One of the
and it's not
questions.
quite there at the minute,
Yeah.
but it will be, because we're going to keep going. But it's kind of, it's that thing. It's not going to end, but it's still kind of, we're still tweaking it to make it run more smoothly. Basically.
Yeah, because one of the questions in the quiz as well was like, can you walk for 30 minutes, at a brisk pace without stopping or without getting out, without having to stop or whatever, Because I mean, that's still a good test for some people, for lots of people,
Yeah.
It's and not an age related thing, but just lots of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, if they're not used to, if they don't go out, if they're one of these people who we mentioned earlier, who maybe only gets 1,000 or 2,000 steps a day, going out for a 30-minute kind of walk at not a hiking, route march pace, but at a fairly kind of steady, consistent pace, some people will struggle with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like that'll be some people's like entire day's worth of steps or more, possibly double in one go. Which I find quite, I don't know, I find that quite scary, because that means people people are, there's people who aren't going out and doing any of that. And if you're indoors all day, you're not getting out and about in nature and all of these sorts of things, it does your brain no good. So then when you, like, that comes back to your pyramid, when you want to get in shape and you go and join a gym that's got no windows and neon lights and all that sort of stuff, it's like, it's just, and I get why people do it, obviously, because it's like, that's where people think that's the place to start. But it's like, it's just getting that message across. And like you say, we're in an echo chamber and it's obvious. And the amount of people who are on podcasts now and all over the place, like, go walking in nature, it's the thing.
Well, you shared something, didn't you? Was it the other day? Dan John was on with
Pat Flynn,
wasn't he? I think you shared something the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, like, he basically said walking solves a lot of things. And I was like, if only there was a business that
because you sent me the clip, didn't you? You sent me the little clip. Yeah.
I was like, he's just said that, and yeah, brilliant. And that just came out of nowhere. He was just talking about going out for a walk.
Yeah.
And there was, what else was I listening to? There was something else as well. Some Alan Watts thing, I think. He was like a philosopher. I think he died in the 70s, but he was all like Eastern stuff, and he knows like the Tao and Buddhism and all that sort of stuff. And he used to do lectures on it. But he talks about just going out walking in nature, and he talks about computers. And he, like I said, I think he died in like 1973 or something, right? It might have been a little bit later than that, but I'm pretty sure it was the 70s. And he talks about computers and the information age, and how we're getting bombarded with all this information. How you've got like 3 channels you can watch, 3, right? 3 channels you can watch with all this information on it, and everyone's getting bombarded by it, and people can't think anymore because your grandparents used to just listen to whatever was on the radio, and that's all they had. And all of this, and he's talking about that in the 70s.
In the 70s, yeah.
Imagine now, if he was here now, what he'd be like Right.
Nowadays you carry a television around in your pocket, don't you? And you're totally, yeah. It's at least then you had one television in the sitting room or whatever,
Yep.
and you all watched the same thing, and it
Yep.
was on at a certain time, so it wasn't like streamed or anything like that. If you missed it, you missed it. You had to be there to watch it. Yeah. So
He died
um,
in November 1973.
wow, yeah.
So
And he
these
was overloaded with technology back then.
So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming one of the like the talk I was listening to, because he mentions IBM and stuff like that, and I don't know when they started, but it'll be like probably very late 60s, early 70s. He's
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
and saying it's a problem,
Yeah.
and
God.
it's again we know this, and like we're all susceptible to it. I'm on my phone all the bloody time. I'm on it
Mm.
way too much, and I know when I can feel it's like a lot of the time. I'll be like, I need to put this thing down, and
Mm.
it's still really high. Like I need to put this thing down, and
Yeah.
it's mad. But that's
That's
how.
why I've like recently when I've gone out for walks, especially in the evening, when I've thought, right, I'm just going to go for an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, just to get my steps up, basically. And I put my phone in my pocket, but I never look at it because that's what I use to track my steps. I don't have a ring or a watch or anything like that. So I just use that as my step counter, put it in my pocket, but I'm not listening to, some people, they always have to have something in their ears, they have to be listening to music or a podcast or something. Unless you're listening to the Health Oddity podcast, then it's okay. But you have to have something in your ears. But I love just going out walking with nothing, and I always find that I come back and I kind of, that's you must find it as well. I get good ideas, I get more clarity, I solve problems in my head, things that might have been bothering me. You come up with solutions to. Um, it's just giving yourself that space, isn't it? That space and time.
Yeah, well, it's going out and not overthinking everything. So
Mm,
just going out and be like, oh, there's trees, there's a sunset, there's some grass, it's nice, it smells nice, and all that. Like what
mm,
you said earlier, if your steps aren't quite where they want to be for that day, you'll just go out for a walk when the kids are in bed
mm,
and everything. And obviously, if the weather's crap and all of that, then fair enough, don't bother. But
mm,
or do sometimes it's
mm,
nice to go out in the warm rain,
mm,
but what will happen as a result of that is you're not watching crap on telly, and you are you probably sleep better if you go out. Like after dinner you go out for a walk, you probably sleep better later on. Like all of these things that we talk about a lot, it'll be there
mm.
as part of it, as the bottom of
That's
the
what I
pyramid as
kind of
well.
thought that. I thought while I'm out walking, right, there's a few things going on here. One, I'm walking and I'm increasing my steps and I'm actually physically expending energy and I'm thinking and it's giving me time for that. But two, I'm not sitting in front of the telly, and
Yep.
also I'm not like maybe snacking, eating, or just feeling like I'm sitting here, I'm just going to eat something for the sake of it because I'm out and I'm doing something. It's
Yeah.
kind of, so you've kind of got like a double or a triple whammy effect there. Um,
And if you're
yes,
thinking,
good.
if you're thinking too much as well, you're probably creating problems that you don't need to worry about.
Yeah,
Creating problems and scenarios that may or may not turn up in the future and probably won't, but
yeah,
you'll worry about them anyway, rather than just going out and being a bit more kind of like open-minded or whatever you want to call it, noticing
yeah,
nature and stuff. And then any problems that are there that need sorting out, you'll probably come up with a solution
yeah.
by not thinking too much. So, it sounds all a bit what would you say? I don't know, wishy-washy, hippy-dippy, whatever you want to
Mm,
call it, but it
mm,
happens.
mm.
It does actually happen, you
No,
know.
totally. And is it like it's Oscar Wilde or Mark Twain or one of those, that kind of you know, I've had thousands of problems in my life, most of which never happened, because
Yeah.
you're just dealing with it. Yeah. He's going to say, oh, he said that because, it's all that stuff we've spoke about many times before.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I think we will start to wrap up there. I've got a couple of little updates for you, listeners, gentle listeners, as Dan John would say. First one next week, episode 269. We are going to be joined by Theo Newton from Ultra Wellness, and this is an optimal health and advanced recovery clinic, which actually has recently opened in Chelmsford. And I went there the other day and had some localized cryotherapy on my injured wrist. But they've got loads of kind of recovery tools there, like hyperbaric chamber. They've got like full body kind of cryotherapy, localized cryotherapy, this kind of I think it's blue and red light therapy for different things. So it's all to do with sort of optimal health and advanced kind of recovery through injuries and stuff. So he's going to be talking about that. And obviously, if you are in America or Canada or Australia, wherever, you're not going to be coming to Chelmsford for this sort of thing, but it will hopefully just give everyone a bit of a knowledge about what's out there. Maybe you can find somewhere in your local area, because I found I'm going to definitely have another bout of it done. Only took a few minutes, but in the next few weeks I'm going to be back. The next thing is Chris Beetham, who I was lining up with. He's been in touch with me again today. He's incredibly busy. Chris does still want to come on the podcast, and we should have him on, I think, sometime in December, because he's literally just come third at Scotland's Strongest Man. And then I think he's messaged me and said he's away on holiday for a couple of weeks, and now he's got a place out in the Magnus Classic out in Iceland in November, so he's going to be out competing there. So he's got loads and loads of stuff on. But yeah, we will be having Chris Beetham, the Beef, on the podcast as well. And yeah, I am going to be out in Iceland in November again for the Magnus Classic. And it's really funny, Pete. I'm a man of many talents, supposedly, because I was just before coming on, Maximum Iron, who are the makers of Stones and Stones 2, he sent me a message. Is there any chance you can get some photos and videos of Chris Beetham competing in Iceland for our Stone Stories episode 1 we're making about him? I said, of course. So I'll be doing I'll be driving the minibus probably out there. I'll be taking videos and photos. I'll be a man of jack of all trade, a master of none. So yeah, but that'll be great. So out there again in November at the Magnus Classic. But yeah, so we've got some good guests lined up. Pete is in the process of lining a couple. We've been approached by a couple of other guests or potential guests. We've been approached to have them on, so we're kind of booking people on as we speak. So we will be back next week with episode 169 with Theo Newton from Ultra Wellness. That was good. Good to catch up, Pete.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Excellent. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Please do like, share, subscribe, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so, especially Apple Podcasts, which is where we're trying to get our reviews up. We will be back next week with Theo Newton from Ultra Wellness to talk about all things optimal health, advanced recovery, that you can do to enhance and aid your recovery and enhance your training. So until then, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Health Odyssey with Peter Lant and James St. Pierre. To get your regular fix of hype-free health, you can subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can find out more on today's and other topics at healthodyssey.com, or find us on Facebook or Instagram by searching for Health Odyssey.